What if time travel were possible? If you could travel to any moment in history, where would you go? I'm Stax. And if time travel were possible, this is exactly what we'd do. We wouldn't just study history, we'd step into it. We'd stand face to face with the people who changed the world and ask them the questions history never could. Today, in celebration of America's 250 years as a nation, we're setting our time machine for 1783. The Revolutionary War has just ended. A new nation is being born and waiting for us. George Washington, the man who led a revolution that changed history forever. Today, we're traveling back in time to interview George Washington. This isn't just history. This is your front row seat to the past. Let's step into history.
Mr. President, thank you for having me and agreeing to answer these and rather tough questions. What were the biggest challenges you faced as the first President of the United States, and how did you overcome them?
The greatest challenge was establishing a government from scratch. We had no precedent to follow. I surrounded myself with capable men such as Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson, and relied on careful deliberation to make decisions that would strengthen the young republic.
What leadership qualities do you believe are essential for a great leader?
Possess integrity, patience, and a willingness to serve the people rather than personal ambition. Honor and duty should always outweigh personal gain.
How did you maintain unity in the newly formed nation with so many different perspectives and interests?
It was difficult. I worked to mediate between opposing factions, urging cooperation over division. I also set the precedent of a peaceful transition of power to ensure stability.
If you could give advice to future U.S. presidents, what would it be?
Beware of political factions and the dangers of foreign entanglements. Lead with virtue and remember that the office is a duty, not a privilege.
What was your vision for America's future? And do you think we have lived up to it? What was the most difficult decision you had to make during the Revolutionary War?
Many decisions were difficult, but retreating from New York in 1776 was one of the hardest. It was a painful loss, yet necessary to keep the army intact.
How did you keep your troops motivated, especially during times of extreme hardship like the winter at Valley Forge?
I led by example and shared in their struggles. I reminded them that we were fighting not just for ourselves, but for generations to come. The cause of liberty gave us strength.
What strategies do you believe were most effective in securing victory over the British?
Patience and adaptability. We could not defeat the British in open battle, so we used guerrilla tactics, surprise attacks, and strategic retreats to outlast them.
If you could change one thing about how the war was fought, what would it be?
I wish we had more supplies and a stronger navy. Our lack of resources made every battle harder than it needed to be.
What lessons from your military career do you think still apply to modern warfare and leadership?
Endurance and strategy are more important than brute strength. A true leader must know when to fight, when to retreat, and when to negotiate.
How did you develop the strong sense of duty and integrity that guided your life?
It was instilled in me from a young age through discipline, study, and my experience in the military. I always believed that honor was the foundation of leadership.
What role did faith and morality play in your decision-making?
While I never publicly declared a strong religious affiliation, I believed deeply in divine providence and that morality was essential to the success of a republic.
What kept you humble despite being one of the most powerful men of your time?
I never sought power for its own sake. I saw myself as a servant to the people, not a ruler. Power is a burden, not a privilege.
Looking back, is there anything you regret or wish you had done differently?
Perhaps I should have spoken more forcefully against slavery. I knew it was a moral wrong, yet I did not take decisive action in my lifetime.
You owned enslaved people but later expressed concerns about slavery. How did your views evolve over time?
I was born into a world where slavery was accepted, but over time I came to see its deep injustice. I freed my enslaved people in my will, but I regret not doing more during my life.
What prevented you from taking stronger action to end slavery in your lifetime?
Political realities. The fragile union of the states would not have survived if slavery had been abolished outright. I feared division would destroy what we had built.
If you could see America today, what would you say about the progress made toward equality and justice?
I would be heartened to see that freedom has been extended to many who were once oppressed. But I would remind you that liberty must always be defended, for injustice finds new forms.
What advice would you give future generations about fostering unity despite differences?
Focus on what unites you rather than what divides you. Do not let party spirit consume the republic, for division is the enemy of liberty.
How do you think history should remember you? Not just as a general or president, but as a person.
As a man who served his country to the best of his ability, I was not perfect, but I did my duty.
What were your hopes for future generations of Americans?
That they would cherish their liberty and work to preserve the republic for all people, not just for the privileged few.
If you could send one message to today's leaders, what would it be?
Place the good of the nation above personal ambition. A government that serves itself rather than the people is doomed to fail.
What do you think is the greatest threat to democracy?
Factionalism, corruption, and the erosion of civic virtue. When leaders serve themselves rather than the people, democracy is at risk.
What would you say to young people who want to make a difference in the world?
Do not wait for permission to lead. A republic thrives when its citizens are active, engaged, and virtuous.
If you could time travel to the present, what questions would you ask us?
Have you preserved the republic? Do you still value liberty above all else? And most importantly, are you united as one nation? Time traveler. What has become of the United States in the centuries ahead? How fares the republic we have labored to build? Does liberty endure? And has our union grown stronger or fallen to division? Tell me, what manner of people, governance, and spirit define our nation in your age?
Mr. President, it is a profound honor to speak across the gulf of time to one of the chief architects the nation you helped forge endures. The United States stands among the most powerful and influential countries in the world, a beacon of immense wealth, innovation, and cultural richness. Your Constitution remains the bedrock of our law, though it has been amended and interpreted in ways that you might find both ingenious and perplexing. The Union has grown vast, from the original 13 states to 50, stretching from the Atlantic to the Pacific and beyond to distant territories. The questions of liberty and equality, which stirred the soul of the Revolution, have evolved and deepened. There has been great progress. Slavery, that cruel contradiction of American ideals, was abolished through terrible civil strife. Women, and later citizens of every race, secured the right to vote. Yet the struggle for true equality continues, with tensions around race, gender, and wealth ever present. The dream of America remains vibrant, but it demands constant, painful renewal. Economically, we are a colossus, with industries and technologies you could scarcely imagine. Machines that think, physicians that repair failing hearts, carriages that move without horses, and the power to communicate across vast distances in an instant. Yet with such miracles have come new perils: economic inequality, threats to privacy, and the dangerous capability to spread falsehoods swiftly and widely. On the world stage, the United States leads, but not without controversy or opposition. We have fought wars great and small, sometimes to defend freedom, sometimes for causes more ambiguous. Global alliances and rivalries are complex and shifting. Most urgently, we face challenges to the very earth itself. The bounty of the natural world that your generation treasured is under threat from the consequences of industry and consumption. Climate change, a warming of the planet, stirs storms, droughts, and migrations that test the resilience of nations. And yet, Mr. President, I must tell you, despite all these trials, the American spirit, that belief in striving, in reinvention, in freedom, is not extinguished. It burns in acts of courage, of innovation, of kindness among strangers. Many still look to your example, your warnings against faction and despotism, your hope for a more perfect union. They endeavor to heal divisions, to extend the blessings of liberty not to the few, but to all. The United States you dreamed of lives on. Imperfect, unfinished, but striving still. History has been kind in remembering you, not because the work was easy, but because you dared to begin it.
Thank you, Mr. Stax. Your words were both enlightening and encouraging, though also quite disappointing. Nevertheless, there is still hope. Thank you for your visit, Have a safe journey back, and may God be with you.
Thank you, Mr. President, Your Excellency. Thank you for your time and for hosting us. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to see more educational videos like this, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.